Okay, let's not even mention the kind of temptation, but temptation is something you are going to face until you die. But okay, let me hold myself so that we can. I really want to see how much ground I can cover. Now, 1 Corinthians chapter 3. We read from verse 18 before I allow you to have your seat. Let's read together. 1 to go. Let no man deceive himself. So, wait. So there is a possibility of deceiving yourself? Huh? Is it possible to deceive yourself? Have you deceived yourself before? How many of you have deceived yourself before? Let me see your hand. I deceived myself one time as a teenager. I went to do evangelism. Okay, because you laughed, I'm not going to tell you again. Don't worry. Because you people laughed, the people you are laughing at me, maybe I will not tell you again. Okay, I should tell you. It was a serious deception to go to evangelize one girl. So you mean it's possible for somebody to be deceiving himself? I was deceiving myself, and I was going for evangelism. So one of these days, I went for that evangelism. So the girl was, the way my daughter is looking at me, she's trying to spoil this story. I'm not sure I want to continue telling. See, all my children, close your ears. Yeah. So, the girl was, my wife, okay, everything has spoiled now. It's the cameraman. So, the girl was tying wrapper. So I was just sitting there like a fool, one place. So when the girl came in, when she came, she just looked at me and shook her head and said, "Look, if not that I like you, I would have just finished you here." So I said, Jesus, I can't even remember. It's like as if I escape, nothing, no, my leg will not. So she said, I know what to do to you. She just said, okay, but just because I like you, I'll leave you. I escaped from that place. My leg has not gone there again till tomorrow. So I just realized how I was deceiving myself, that I was going for what? Evangelism. Oh. I said, no, this type of evangelism, not my leg, I will not do it again. So, you've deceived yourself before. You know what is in your heart, but you are even sometimes trying to tell yourself a different thing. You are seeing danger. You are trying to convince yourself. You are seeing red light. You are trying to convince yourself that it is purple. True or not true? You convince yourself. You say, this cannot be red. This is purple. It's a shade of purple. How many of you they burn you before? Might see your hand. My own, I escaped too. See, I cannot guarantee you that all the time you are going to escape. In fact, many times some people are not alive to tell the story. So, back to that, he said, Let no man deceive. If any man among you seem to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise. You see, this pathway of becoming wise is very strange. Becoming God's fool, number 4. How to be wise, how many of you want to be wise? I said the name is what? You become God's fool. So, do you that? You see, this thing is like a contradiction. God is saying, become a fool in order to be. Does that make sense? It doesn't even make sense. Okay, let's see. Let me see verse 19. Very powerful. You become a fool. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. 20. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are what? Vain. Now back to verse 18. Now you may be seated. Thank you. Back to verse 18. Now give me NLT. We're going to read NLT and Message translation. So, for you to be wise, you have to become God's fool. He says, stop deceiving yourselves. If you think you are wise by this world's standard, you need to become a fool. Oga, go back to that place. Let's start with that one. You know, sometimes we want to be up to date. Is it not? Follow the trend. You don't want to miss out. And you see, the reality is that that's one of the temptations that the church is facing. The church is facing a temptation to compete with the world. So he said, don't fool yourself. Don't think that you can be wise mainly by being up to date with these times. Verse 19. Be God's fool. That is the path to true wisdom. What the world calls smart, God calls stupid. Come on, are you reading something at all? So he said what? It is written in scriptures. He exposes the chicanery of the cheeky. Did you see that? That there are many things that the world looks at and calls it smart, but God calls it stupid. But you see, there is a temptation to be smart in the eyes of the world. There's a very big temptation so that you can be current, so that the world can applaud you, so that the world can. Now, let me tell you this. You know, look at one of the temptations that the world is giving, is projecting to the church. You know, sometimes you see people are accusing the church is not doing much to help the needy, to help the less privileged, to help. So they are putting, talking about issue of charity and all that. So they put us under that pressure. They say, oh, we should have built factories and all that. So you know what that thing is doing to us? Is that these days now, when we want to do good, we carry camera. Hey, are you hearing what I'm saying? When we want to do good, what do? We carry camera. And say, everybody, hold the rice. Do your head like this. All of you, gather here. They snap, bum, bum. Hey, they say, this is Christianity. You know what I'm also wondering? How do people carry camera to evangelism? I'm not saying crusade. That's you went for personal evangelism. Then, as you are somebody saying, for God so loved the world, somebody is saying, bam, this is Saturday reaching out. This is Saturday going out. You see, there is a trend, there is a pressure that wants you to present yourself to the world as somebody who is doing something. There is that pressure that is upon every one of our souls to see that, let it be that you are relevant. And sometimes in the bid to be relevant, we are breaking God's instructions. The thing that God said, let your left hand not see what the right hand is doing. So there is that pressure, that temptation, so that people will not think that you are not doing something. You can't see, let me tell you this. God wants you to do good and doesn't want you to publicize it. So, but there is a pressure. There is that, and that's what he's saying. You are trying to be up to date. You are trying to trend everything. You see, you need to realize something. If you're going to be wise, and this is important because I told you there are three kinds of wisdom. The wisdom of God, you remember that? Worldly wisdom and devilish wisdom. And God is saying, look, if you are going to be wise, that means you're going to begin by being a fool. And what does that mean? Men and brethren, let me tell you this. When we truly follow God, you will look foolish in the eyes of men. And you see, the pressure that we have is that nobody wants anybody to think you are a fool. You are not going to ever be wise in the eyes of God if you want to impress people. If you want people to look at you and clap for you and say, oh, that's right, this guy is the correct guy. Because you see, the instructions of God will actually make you look stupid in the eyes of men. And that's what God is saying. If you want to be wise, you are going to first of all become what? A fool. You are. You're going to be a fool. Oh my God. And you see, that's when many people don't want to be. Let me give you a typical example. You see, God can give you an instruction. Let me give you this, just an example. God can give you an instruction. Stay in Makurdi. Yeah? True or not true? Now, but you see, that staying in Makurdi will come with different pros and cons. If you are like me, I will actually think that if I receive an instruction, stay in Makurdi, what I would think in my mind is that as soon as I obey that instruction,